You would think with all the talk of moratoriums, eviction, and foreclosure, that once they're lifted, we would have a wave of foreclosures. Macaulay, tranquilo. Not quite. Let's talk about it. We're going to be talking about foreclosures, when they're going to be coming, and they're going to be coming, and its impact on the real estate market right now. I am Anant Deoras, AD with eXp Realty, and through my Leaving Chicago YouTube channel, I provide timely content specifically for homeowners. And so today's topic is foreclosures and kind of the impact to the real estate market. Before we talk about the foreclosures, I also want to kind of have a point of clarification here between, of course, the eviction moratorium and the foreclosure moratorium. So as it stands right now, Biden didn't technically, for all properties that are in foreclosure, extend that moratorium. It was done at the governmental agency level. So FHFA, well, I'll say that fast about 10 times, through their Fannie and Freddie enterprises, did extend the foreclosure moratorium. It's a lot of words there, through September 30th. It was expiring on the 31st of July. In addition, FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, for their FHA loans also extended that moratorium. So any of those, all three of those type of enterprises account for roughly about 60 to 70% of all loans on the market. So all of those were extended through September. So, however, now there are still actually filings. So that's different from evictions, right? Because technically up until this point, even though you could be going through, it's a judicial process, particularly in Illinois and many other states, they have to file. The banks, if they're going to foreclose on you, they have to do a filing. And of course, that could be extended. And then, of course, in that time, you have a right to stay in your home. So actually, foreclosures, those filings were 13,000 based upon information I'm providing. You can see an overlay here of SOFI, Adam Solutions, a little over 13,000. It is interesting that I mentioned that bad Illinois was number 3 on that list with, out of over 5 million homes, 905 were in foreclosure. So not the best of news, right? However, again, that moratorium has been extended so those borrowers can stay at least through September, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen beyond that is anyone's guess. So that's kind of that difference between, the eviction moratorium and the foreclosure moratorium. Those borrowers are still protected if you have that type of loan. If you don't, and if you're not in that 60 to 70%, you're in that 30%, you may be proceeding with foreclosure proceedings, unfortunately. So that's that kind of difference. So 13,000 does seem like a kind of a big number, and of course it is unfortunate if you're one of those persons, particularly here in Illinois, of those 905 that are going through foreclosure proceedings. But there is that silver lining, as you've probably heard, right? We've had an inventory shortage. I'm actually going to be talking about for my local Lakeview community and for the Chicago market. I'm going to be doing a couple of market updates, and so that should be coming up in the next couple of weeks. But actually, there was some numbers crunched by CoreLogic. They're an analytics firm. They look at the housing market. And from the first quarter of 2020, you're going to be seeing some images coming over for ease of use. To visually see. From the first quarter of 2020 through the first quarter of 2021, there was an average net equity increase of just over $33K for homeowners that had a mortgage. And also they dived in the numbers deeper, and in May, this past May, for people that are actually in forbearance for a quick refresher, right, is a freeze on your payments. You've had that opportunity. If you feel that you're not going to be able to pay, you could look into forbearance. Before you do that though, of course, reach out to me first to kind of look at your options. But people that were in forbearance had 88K. Now, of course, that does exclude any missed payments. So of course that 88K will eventually reduce once you come out of forbearance. So that's the whole thing, is you have options. You don't necessarily have to, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, go through forbearance. You can go through forbearance. And if you have to, you do have a lot of equity. You can actually sell your home and pull that equity out. So home can foreclose versus what happened in 2007, run up 2007, 2008, where the bottom just dropped. There was a house of cards and all those values just sunk. We have had so much price appreciation throughout many markets, even in Chicago, a little relatively lagged, but because of that appreciation, you actually have equity. So it is foreclosure is, I guess, a four-letter word, but with all that equity, as I just mentioned from CoreLogic, that is a good news. So you have that option to sell, or if you really like your school district, you have nowhere to go ahead and go through that foreclosure proceedings. You don't get that black mark, and I can connect you with my lenders. You may have to rent, right? You may not be able to buy, but it really ends up being a personal decision, as I've always said, life decision. So that equity is fantastic. So yes, there are going to be those foreclosures, but you're asking Anant, what is going to happen now? Where's that wave coming? Is there going to be a quote unquote wave? So you gotta understand with foreclosures, it's a filing, it's a judicial process, and they're not some quick fix. There's a whole year's worth, right? Because we've had these moratoriums from different states, and they're not all immediately going to go. A percentage of those, right, are going to foreclose. Another percentage they're going to be sold, and those homeowners, as I just mentioned just now previously in the previous segment, going to pull out some equity from there, right? They're not all going to happen. It's not going to be a wave. So you're going to have a certain percentage. We don't know the exact percentage, right? Because we don't know if that moratorium is going to be extended beyond September 30th. But let's say hypothetically after September 30th, right, in that last quarter, you're going to have a percentage coming on there that could cause a slight softening. But the National Association of Realtors had the average price $363K of value. So that's the average price. It's phenomenal. And oh, by the way, right, we have an inventory shortage. So also NAR, which I belong to, the National Association of Realtors, said we would need 5.5 million units every year for 10 years. So, it's even if they come, and they're gonna come in small spurts, we can absorb it because we've had such a shortage. So I hope you found value in this video. I am Anant Deoras, AD with eXp Realty. Any questions at all? Actually, go ahead and leave comments, because I know if you have that question, other viewers that watch this video will have a question, or of course you can reach out to me. All my contact information is below. This has been Foreclosures and its impact on the real estate market. Until next time, have a wonderful day.